What's up, y'all? LTJ Reid.
Hey,
This is Throwing Light, and if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. Oh, I'm sorry, I dropped papers on the floor. Okay, so I am excited tonight to have one of my leather brothers in my immediate family here in Austin on the show tonight. I've got the Dr. Reverend Al Reid here. How are you, Dr. Reverend?
I am doing fantastic. It's been a,
So,
I guess
yes.
I've never been called doctor, but been a long time since I've been called reverend.
I'm gonna start calling you Reverend Al Reid. Okay, so before we can get into it, Al and I've had some history together, and getting to know each other. We both competed for the Mr. Austin Eagle title, and I mean, since then, I mean, a lot of people were rooting for you, Al.
Well, I tell
I
people all the
heard
time,
lots of people were
I,
rooting for you, Al. So no,
I
but
put
you, but
brother up to a
you're, but
great human.
you're, but you're a perfect example of not needing that to be relevant. If that's fair for me to say, I don't think you're just someone when people know you're in the community. They know what you're about. So anything that you would choose to pursue would just be like an elevation for you because you already are well respected in the community. That's why I have you on this show. I can't believe I've taken this long to have you on here, though. I should have had you a lot sooner. Um, I guess how we're going to get things started, Al, we're going to talk a little bit about how you got involved in the community, and then we're going to, go from there. I think we're going to touch on spirituality a little bit, which is something in 80 episodes. This is might be the 80th episode. Um, we haven't had that conversation. And I think it'll be a great conversation to have because, like I said, my whole thing about 2025 is project humanization to not let these people dehumanize us. That's going on. So, the more that we have these conversations and they see that we are complex thinkers that do have all these aspects that fit into our lives, maybe they'll have a little bit more compassion and back off and leave us alone.
Right.
But,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely. We're people
anyway,
trying to live our lives. We don't have it all together. We're doing our damnedest as they are, and we're trying to walk this journey and do it intentionally and make a mark on the world, right?
well, the thing is
Yeah.
that, I would say, like, I'm not here to make someone else's life harder. Life is hard.
Right.
Why would we want to make it harder for ourselves or the people around us? It makes
Absolutely.
no sense. No
Right.
sense over
Right.
here. Al, why don't you go and tell everybody how you got involved in our community or in the community as a whole?
Yeah. Um, so my journey kind of in community and kink and leather a whole bit. I started early off. I mean, I came out when I was 32, weeks from being 33, and
Did
that
you come out as a leather person or come out the closet?
came out of the closet.
Okay, okay,
I
32.
left the Christian world, came out, kind of left it all behind, and quickly got involved in kink, like pretty quickly after that. But in about 2000, late 2018 when I actually started getting involved in community. Started coming out to gear nights at the Iron Bear back then, later the Eagle, and seeing people that I was like, oh my God, this is something that I really like. This is something that I resemble. I've loved leather. I think people say, when was your first piece of leather? I think I was 12 or 13 when I got my first leather coat.
Oh,
Um, it,
crap.
it,
I
it,
was like, I thought
yeah, it was a leather
like,
coat, but I remember how much I loved it and how much I loved the smell and the touch. And then I got my first piece of leather when I was in my 30s. But I really didn't see a whole bunch of people. I wasn't going out, I guess I should say, and seeing a lot of folks. So I started coming out and being intentional about going out and trying to find community. And I did that 2018, 2019. Started seeing people coming out in their leather and being comfortable in their leather, and met some amazing people along the way who encouraged me. There were role models, encouragers, cheerleaders at the time. And I just fully started embracing and feel like I had my leather coming out, and started embracing what I've always loved. And so that got me involved in community. And now I'm involved in different communities. I have a faith community. I have my leather community. I'm involved in other parts of the community as well. I just love community and I love being a part. I often tell folks, for me, how I feel I should be walking through life is being heard, being seen, and being present, uh, and with the people that I care about. And so I find ways to get involved with that.
I enjoyed having you come to. I want to say thank you for coming and supporting the things I do, Al. You've come to everything I've done,
Absolutely.
and I really want to say thank you. And it is encouraging to me because sometimes we look at who's not there, but I know you're there, and you ain't got to tell me anything. And I know that you support me. You gave me the idea of like letting these leather bar crawls, changing out the hosts, like, and
Mhm.
letting anyone that wants to co-host the leather bar crawl do that, and let it just, be multiple people and do what they want to do for the bar crawl. So that kind of hit me with it because I think you'd be a great partner to do one of those for if we got together and thought out of a plan. But
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
show
I
up,
love it.
you're there, you're present. No one is going to deny that. You're there for those that can't be there for themselves sometimes, and I think that's just an amazing thing is being dependable. Um, you're honest. You do what you say, and that's where I think I'm most connected to you. You BS never comes out of your mouth at any degree. I think you have a way of actually being direct without being like me and being a little asshole-ish. I try not to be, but you are good at being
I
calm.
have my moments. I have my moments. I tell people all the time. Folks always say, "Oh my God, you're so nice. You're so nice." I tell you, don't mess with my F's. Don't mess with my family. Don't mess with my finances. Don't mess with my friends. Don't mess with my food, and we're good. You want to see the bad how I tell folks I will pop off, as my sisters would say, I'll pop off my earrings, pop off my nails, and we'll go to town. But
Yeah,
yeah, there are times when you have to.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I tell people I punch, kick, pull hair, whatever to get the job done.
Yeah,
Like if we gotta go, we gotta go. Vaseline razors, meet you out in the back parking lot.
that's
Let's get it
right.
over with. Because we need to get it over with. We need to get it over with. All right.
Absolutely.
So let's get to some of the fun things going on. We're here in Austin together. How do you feel about the presence of leather in the Austin community? And I'll go ahead and have this conversation with you. I've been over to San Antonio a good bit now. I'm actually wanting to join the San Antonio Leatherman. I've been like extremely just wowed by them and that support. And I'm kind of wondering, how do you feel about Austin growing a community like that and taking lead and doing things in the community? Do you think we have anything like that, or
I think we have pieces of it. I'm not super familiar with San Antonio Leatherman, so I can't really speak to exactly what they have. So I'm not super familiar with them. But I think we have some attempts to really coordinate and gather the leather folks. I think we could always do better. But I think, yeah, I think there are some spots where it's happening, not happening. There's times where I'm like, I wish there was more. And that's just part of me. I wish there was um, more togetherness. I wish there was more ability. I love going out to the bars, and that's great. But there's times where I want to go and do other things, and there's times where there's a call to action. I want to see some leather folks show up to those call to actions. Not everybody can do it. I've been down to the Capitol. Not everybody can go to the Capitol. Not everybody. That's not everybody's form of activism either. People do it different ways. Maybe they're some folks do it in different ways. But I often say I wish there was a more cohesive uh, group of people here in Austin at times. I think there are pockets, but I think we can always do better.
do you feel like
Absolutely.
they're different pockets doing their own thing? I think some are doing similar things, and
I
it's
think, yeah,
like they need
absolutely.
to come together. That's what I see a
Yeah, I
lot.
think folks are doing absolutely doing similar things, doing good things. But I think we can come together and do so much more. There's something about the power in coming together and working together and having a concerted effort to be in community together. And so I'm always like, what are ways that we can be in community together and grow the community? So yeah, absolutely. I think there definitely folks that are doing things here in Austin. Some similar things, some different things, but yeah, there's always
So
ability to do.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling getting things, getting the community like really pumped up. And I don't know what it is about Austin. I mean, we are in the state capital. We're in this little, what I call like a purple bubble. I'm not sure what it is because every community is different, and I don't, we have certain things that we have that are staples, but I would love to see the community do more. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the leather bar crawls, doing the kink readings, the naked readings, I'm trying to push ideas out there, but I can't make people show up. You know what I'm saying? They have to
Right. Yeah.
show up. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure what will make people show up. I guess maybe it takes good,
That's the
long.
million dollar question. That's the million dollar question. I'm not sure about that as well, but at times it's just doing some things and checking some things out and throwing some things out and seeing if this works. Throwing some things out and seeing if this works. Having conversations saying, I don't, what do we want? What do we want as a community? What do we want to see happen? But yeah, that's the part, being able to organize and get people to come out and be involved and do the thing.
I would love to. I think that'd be a great idea just to do community feedback. This is the biggest thing though, is our visibility for women, and even trans women and trans men in the leather community here. I would say that we have a very, very progressive mindset here in Austin in terms of like I think we are diversity conscious here.
Mhm.
Where I might go to other areas and they double down on just having leather men. I think that we are cognizant of our trans or non-binary community, and I think that we do I personally think Austin and our community does a good job of that. We're not perfect,
Right.
but we see
There's
that we
always room to
work
improve.
on
Yeah.
that. We
Yeah.
do see the work that needs to be done in terms of that inclusiveness. Because I've been to other communities and it's just like they're just very, like old guard focus and not there. They don't think that the things that we want to do here are capable of being done. I guess that's would be the because I've gone to I've talked to people in the community, be like, hey, wave a magic wand, just make all gender titles neutral. Just do that. If that and I'm just like it's like and I've had this conversation with people. I think I had Princess asshole in here and like we could do the things that need to be done, but we don't. We come up with an excuse, and as I'm on the back end working on this peace treaty symbol that I've been working, I'm still working on it. I kept trying to figure it out. But I've mentioned to the community of me wanting efforts to go out to like 4th Street and expand, who we're working
Yeah.
with. I'm like, oh, it sounds good in theory, but it's not gonna happen. But I'm in talks with entertainers and business owners down in 4th Street. So they said they're willing to work together. And when I tell them this, I'm like, oh, I know I've had like mentors of mine being like, good luck, just like that. When I say, hey, I want to stop infighting, good luck.
But
I'm
and
like, are we giving
it is
up? Are we just giving
right.
up?
And giving up is not an option.
That's
And
what I'm saying.
there are folks that are willing to work together. A few months ago, I went and was invited to go to the Dyke March and was a marshal, and folks were like, "Thank you for protecting." I was like, "I didn't protect you. I just was here with you." But it was amazing because I met so many great people that I wouldn't have met any other way. Went to Chirp Charlie's afterwards, and you know I love country dancing and line dancing. I look up and there are people doing this line dance, and I jumped in and started line dancing. Now I'm in this whole new community, and there's a monthly dance still happening with folks that I do not see at any other bars. But we come together and we go country dancing. It's still called Country Fried, and we country dance with a group of people that are just amazing and wonderful. And so communities out there. It's about us going and finding them, and yeah, never giving up. Folks want to work together. We just got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like for me, it's just, and so, for me, it's just, I'm like, I cannot be on this earth and not try to do better. Like how
absolutely. Yeah.
I can't 50 people can tell me no, Al. 50 people can tell me no, but I have to try still.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Because
that's how it
they are not me, I am not them. And if
right.
I believe in my heart that unity is possible, if I see that as possible, and we know unity is possible, it takes just that. Like, why are we so easy to like give into what's negative as the winner? Like, why can't it be, you know what? We're going to flip things around, and you know what? We're going to get out there. We're going
Yeah.
to start, making sure everyone is visible in this community. We're going to fight back. Like, I just had Goddess on here last week, and she keeps it
I
real.
thought, yep. Yeah, absolutely. I
Real. And
yeah,
she's like, we gotta stockpile medicines, we've got to do all these things right now in preparation.
absolutely.
And I'm like, I'm so glad you're on the show because people don't understand how serious this is and that we literally have to think about that right now.
It's yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I tell people it's like unity is not just needed. Unity is not just is not just something that we need. It's something that we need for survival. If we don't unite, it's like history have told us one thing. They're gonna they pick off one group, they pick off the next group, they pick up the next group. I remember back in my speech, I mentioned well, I don't even know if I actually said it. It was in my speech. I can't even remember if I actually said it, but I was like, first they come for the drag queens, then they come for my niece and the trans folks, and then they come for me. And that's the way it works. And so we have to work together. Not working together is not even an option. And
Wait,
we got to figure that out.
what's more sad is that we're still having to work against people of our on I don't even know how to even bring how we talk
Uh-huh.
about people that are of us that are against us. I don't even know.
Right, right.
There are terms that we use. Republican gays are a problem.
Hmm.
MAGA gays definitely are a problem. It's not logic. These people going around like I told guys, I said I get physically ill when I see some LGB without the T. Like I
Yeah,
literally physically get ill. I'm
same.
like, dude, it doesn't matter if you don't understand it or not. It is not your business. I'm like, dude,
Right.
go to biology. Look,
Absolutely.
if you think that's a mental disorder, if you think that it are people that are born biologically
Hmm.
intersex, or is that a mental disorder? That it's just like the
Yeah.
evidence is right in nature. It's
Right,
right.
absolutely, and we've got to, and my feeling like, yeah, we've got to continue to have conversations with them and call them on that stuff, but we have to spend more of our energy because that could be a great distraction, spending all this energy on them, and energy we need to be spending on uniting, and yeah, we want to have those conversations, we want to call them out, call them in, but the bulk of our energy has to be on making sure we're taking care of one another in the community that's working together and the ones that we can have the conversation and get them together and remember, hey, we're coming back to you, we're thinking about you, we're going to have conversations with you, but we're not going to let you take all of our energy, we're not going to let you take all of our time fighting with you.
Yeah.
I see them sometimes and I'm just like, oh, I want to shake them. What the hell are you thinking?
I
But when I
wouldn't
can't
engage
when I
anybody on
can't get
social media
distracted,
politically because it's pointless. It's not a
it is.
conversation whatsoever. And what I tell people, first of all, I'm not past that a convicted rapist criminal is the president. So I'm not past that. So we can't get past
Absolutely.
that conversation with me. That was elected. Someone on video they said that they grabbed women's pussies. That's what he said. Okay,
Yep.
that man ain't
Yep.
changed. He ain't changed. So moving on, I won't even give the energy, just like you said, because I won't say the name because I cannot understand the disrespect towards humanity that's happening. Like you ain't gotta agree with people,
Absolutely.
y'all. You don't have to agree with someone's lifestyle. Go mind your business. We were coexisting just fine with all of this drama in the news, just fine.
Yeah.
So for some reason, it became helping people survive economically to targeting innocent people, and that's where we are.
Right.
That's what's
Right.
happening. And there is no, you cannot justify harming or killing a human being to me and to whatever your
Absolutely.
spirituality is. It doesn't matter what you think their lifestyle is like. You cannot do that. You cannot play
Yeah,
God.
correct.
which
Yep,
I want to move to
absolutely.
this now, is that I want to go back to something you said. You said you left the Christian church. I don't, I want to come back because
Eh, eh,
you didn't
so
leave the spirituality.
I did not, and I should say so before I came out, I was part of a fundamentalist church. So I shouldn't say I left the church because I haven't left the church. I'm still
I was
part of
like,
a
you
faith.
haven't left the church.
Yes, I'm part of a faith community. And what I always like to tell folks, anytime I'm talking about my faith, I like to tell folks I respect and I acknowledge all faith beliefs and all faith walks. And my faith does not come with any exclusionary call all this. It doesn't come with any you must do, you can't do, you have to do. That's what it comes with for me, and this is my faith walk and what I've chosen. So I go to a pretty progressive church, and we are gay denomination. And my faith, my faith beliefs don't align with like most typical Christians of any type, but this is my community, and so yeah, I find spirituality to be a thing for me, and for me, it's about loving others. It's about helping others. It's about doing others. And I'll even say, I was having a conversation with someone, and they were like, "So how do you talk about your leather and your kink and your spirituality?" And I was like, "I talk about them all together. I don't separate them. They're all one for me." Some people separate them. Some people are like, "Oh, this is here, this is here." It's all one for me because it's all similar. I think in so many ways, my spirituality and my leather and my kink all kind of they intersect, they intertwine, they go back and forth. At the end of the day, my spirituality and my kink is about the same thing. It's about helping people on their journey. It's about making connections. It's about relationship. It's about helping people get in touch with where they are right now. And so whether that's with going out and sharing a meal with someone that's homeless with my faith community, or me throwing a flogger, I'm helping someone. I'm giving them something that they're wanting, that they're needing, that they're asking for. And so for me, it all kind of intertwines and it connects with each other.
So I feel like I don't get to talk about this very often. So because I'm a very spiritual person, I don't know if people pick that up or not. I don't talk about it a lot because it's personal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I can, and you know what? There's no prayer being taken out of schools, out of churches, out of grocery stores.
Mhm.
Watch, I'm bowing my head right now and I'm praying because I can do that any moment, anywhere during the day because we were
Right.
given that gift.
Yeah.
See, to Al, this is my issue here is that I was raised Christian. I learned on Christian principles based on what I learned of the red letters in the Bible. I am technically Christian. And this is the deal here is that we don't take into account that human beings are flawed, number one. And everything that we go about in the world was created by a human being when it comes to how we use our intellect.
Mhm.
Um, because we can see God and all that out the actual creation, but how we interpret it, that is the human flaw of the human condition is interpretation.
Absolutely. And I was raised the same way in this church, and oh, the Bible is this, and here's the move that I've made as I've grown and as I've opened my eyes. They're like, oh, the Bible is the word of God. Well, whatever you believe in that. The Bible's a myth. I believe most of the stories, if not all the stories in the Bible, are myths, and just because they're myths, so people say it's inspired. I often say inspired. Yeah, inspired. Could be that they had some bad pizza and they had a bad day, and so as they're writing things, they're writing from that bad day and that cold pizza they ate before they went to sleep. Or that inspiration is always influenced by when I write something, I'm inspired to write it by something. Maybe it's by the sun, maybe it's by looking at nature, but I'm writing it with my take. And so I believe that the many, if not all, of the stories in the Bible are myths, and and they have good things that they can offer. We can learn from myths. We have ability to take those stories. So that's my take. That's not,
No,
and I'm not a theologian. I'm not. I'm just a guy that's figured it out on me. But I can look at those stories and I can say, oh, there's some good that was done in this story, or there's some a lesson that I can take from this story. Don't be an asshole. That's a great story you can get from most Bible stories. Don't be a prick. Don't take people rights away. Don't uh, don't tell people how to live their life. And so it's how you interpret it, how you look at it. And I was telling someone, I said, uh, I tell folks I'm a queer, kinky, leather Christian guy, and I'm trying to take back what the fundamentalists have taken and turned into some weapon to say that's not what it was ever intended to be, and that's what it should that's not what it should be. And here's what I think it should be, and here's what I believe that it should be. And I'm 100% convinced that how I see it is more correct than how they're seeing it.
So I go back to this, and so I wrote a poem called "An Apology from Adam to Eve."
Huh.
In this poem, I have Adam admitting that he's made up all these things to maintain authority over Eve.
Mm, mm. Hey,
So
right
women,
on,
women,
right on. Oh,
women, women of the world. I don't think many people are going to be direct and tell you, but y'all need to start understanding that there is no God. First of all, God does not speak English, so we gotta
right.
back to
Yeah,
that. There are no languages for a God. What God represents, the center of the universe, whatever you believe. There's no language. There are no curse words. He's not concerned. She is not concerned what's in your bedroom. But there's this thing called energy, people, and that's where our spirituality lies. And either you
exactly.
are energy of destruction or your energy of creation.
Right.
That's how the
Yeah.
world works.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to create when there's more destruction. And
Mhm.
we are now in a period, I think, just as a human race, as a humankind, where we're destroying each other, and that is not of God. That's not God
Yeah.
is a creation. Our creativity, this brain, we got 8 billion people on this earth. Do you know if we used our brains, we would probably have all these other planets? Like, we had that capability of making the whole universe our playground if we worked
Right.
together and used our brains. But instead, we're putting ourselves and making the earth much bigger than what it really is.
Hmm. Yeah. Because
So,
we
for
we make
anyone,
ourselves seem so much more important than we are. We can just walk through life being a good human, but people want control and power, and bad things happen when people use tools to gain that control and power, and they do it not thinking of others. They do it thinking selfish, and that's what we're in a time where people are so selfish. People don't
so selfish.
I'm driving down the street and I see someone, and I'm like, this is the problem with America. I'm driving down the street and I see someone in the left lane, and they stopped in the middle of the street because they want to turn at the street. They want to turn. They want to go 2 lanes over to turn at the street, and I'm like, this is the problem that we have in the world. Think about everybody else. Go a block up. Go around the block. But you see that all the time because we don't think about people are not thinking about anybody else but themselves, but what I'm trying to do right now, and that's a sickness in this world. When we don't think about the next person. When I'm not thinking about you, and you're not thinking about me, and I'm not thinking about am I inconveniencing my sibling in this world? Am I inconveniencing the person behind me? Am I doing something that I can do better? It's a sickness that we have in this world.
So it's interesting, and I want to go back to drive on, and it's still Black History Month, and we are people of color here. But white nationalists are selfish. That's what this is
Okay,
about.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what's happening in our country. Basically, if you're not white man, you will have no power.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone's sitting here and it's just happening slowly, so no one really tell you. But like everyone, they went and removed any kind of holiday federally to celebrate that has to do with women, women,
Absolutely. Yeah.
African Americans, the queer community, the Jewish community. Like it just like the you know what? we're going to keep fighting this fight out, but it's going to backfire. It's
Absolutely.
going to backfire because
Yeah.
one thing that's different between now and 1930s Germany is social media and internet presence and the ability to show what is happening. And it's one thing to take away one group's rights, but they're going to try to they're on an assault to take everything away. And if you're working against every other demographic but you're on your own, you're going to run in trouble. If someone that's a leader only want to works with the people that are going to go along with him, you're going to get your ups and comings. It's going to
You're
back
gonna hit that tipping point. Yep, you're gonna hit that tipping point, and it's gonna backfire.
going to
And
backfire. So
and yeah, it's we're living in some times. Yeah, I hear people. I've chosen not to look at a lot of news. I've chosen to get my information, get what I need, but not to into because it's so
don't
easy to
digest. We don't. It's
right.
bad for a spirit to
It's so easy to
digest.
digest it all.
Mhm.
But here's the deal: we know how to fight. Uh, I tell folks all the time, my people, we fought in the civil rights, and we're still here, and we're still fighting. We fought during the AIDS crisis. We fought during so many times. We fought during COVID, and we are still here. And so we know how to fight. There are people that still know how to fight. And so we're not going anywhere. We're here. We're going to fight, and we will prevail. That's just that simple. It's because we're not going to give up. It's like I know what my rights are, and I am willing to fight for my rights. And I'm willing to fight for the rights of my friends, of my nieces, of my family. I am willing to fight, and there are so many people that's willing to fight, and we know how to fight. We don't want to fight, but when you have to, you have to. And so, we're not going anywhere. My trans siblings aren't going anywhere. My trans friends aren't going anywhere. We are here. And so we're going to fight. That's what we know how to do.
Well, thank you so much. We're at the end. I used to do this thing where I would ask if there's anything in the community that you think we're not shedding light on that we should shed light on.
Let's see. Um, one of the things I'll go back and say is the fact that we are not together. When we're seeing these attacks and people are just like, oh, it's not me. So I'm trying to shed light that I'm trying to shed light and have that conversation and say, just because it's not affecting you right now doesn't mean it's not affecting you. Just because you're not feeling it's not affecting you. So I think continue to have this conversation that what affects one of us affects all of us. What affects one part of the community is affecting every part of the community. If you look at the community like it's the body, or you look at the community like it's a car, if you have one flat tire, the car's not running good. If you have a window that's broken, it's not working like it's supposed to. So when we're not all working together, we're suffering. And so I will continue to have that conversation, continue to push that, and continue to say we need to shed lights on the fact that when it affects one part of our community, it is affecting all of us, whether we want to look at it and acknowledge it or not. It's
And
affecting us.
you can say that as our society, as a country as a whole, people don't understand what things are affecting them and things that are. I mean, look, all right, so we're here at the end of the show, and I just want to say this, y'all. Spirituality is for anyone that wants it or seeks it, and it can come in multiple ways. There is no way that 8 billion people can interpret things exactly the same way. We can take our interpretations and lean into our spirituality. We, as Leathermen, have the right to be Christians. We have the right to be Buddhists. We have the right to be anything else as anybody else. And you do have leather people that identify as Christian, and just like you guys out there, the people that use the Bible against people and not to help people, I just want you to know John the Baptist wore leather. So what does that mean?
Yep.
So with that being said, I have one thing left. I need Al to close this show out for me. So when I count to three, Al, you're going to say, if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. You ready?
All right, I'm ready. Here
All
we
right.
go.
1, 2, 3.
If you're not throwing light, you're not acting right.
Boom! Yay! Thank you so much. That has been the end of Throwing
Thank
Light.
you.
Al, I can't wait to have you back on here, okay? I want to bring you back.
Look forward to that. This was the
All right.
highlight of my week. Thank you. I love you.
I love
I
you too.
admire, appreciate all that you're doing in community. Keep doing it, and I will continue to be a cheerleader, continue to support you along
I,
the way, man.
I love having you there. Thank you so much for being there for me, Al. Okay.
All right, man.
All right,
Talk to you.
y'all. It's Throwing Light. We're out.